Hey everybody, Clean Cooking with Ann. Today I'm going to show you how to make raw, vegan, sun-dried tomato basil crackers with hemp, chia, flax, and pumpkin seeds. Let's start out with the ingredients. You're going to be using 2/3 a cup of hemp hearts, 1/3 cup of pumpkin seeds, 1/3 cup of flax meal, 1/4 cup of chia seeds, a teaspoon of salt. I like Celtic sea salt. You're going to need a handful of fresh basil. You're going to need about 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. I don't have quite enough today, so I've decided to supplement with some tomato paste. I'm going to use about a tablespoon. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. The first step is to rehydrate your sun-dried tomatoes. You do not have to chop them because we're going to actually puree them in a blender. So you're just going to put them into the water. Let them sit for about 15 minutes until they become soft, able to be put through the food processor. I got my sun-dried tomato pureed. I'm going to show you how to properly harvest basil. You can get these in a little clamshell. You can use dried herbs, whatever you'd like. When you're harvesting an herb, you want to make sure you don't take more than 1/3 of the plant, and you don't want to pick off the leaves at the bottom. So I'm just going to snip off the top 1/3 of each of these stalks. It's going to create a bushier plant. Every time I trim it, it's going to create new growth. So just remember, you don't want to actually kill your plant. You only want to take off about 1/3 of the height. I'm going to take this basil and I'm going to put the stalk in and everything because I can remove larger pieces of it later, but the stalk still has good flavor. Unless the stalk of an herb is woody and hard, like the bottom of thyme, you actually don't have to remove it. It has great flavor and you can add it into your recipes. I did the tomato first because it takes a little bit longer in the blender for the tomato to get ground up. So I'm going to put the basil in second. It's going to get loud, I'm sorry. All you need is a couple of quick seconds. And you're going to have it all done into small pieces, ready to go into your mixture. Next, I'm going to take my bowl. I'm going to put my chopped pumpkin seeds in, 1/3 cup. My flax, 1/3 cup, and chia, 1/4 cup. And you want to use flax meal because whole chia seeds do not digest in your body. So you're just putting them through there without any real benefit. You're not getting all of the good omegas. And then 2/3 cup of hemp. Hemp is a great source of protein. It's got essential fatty acids in it. And it has this kind of nutty flavor to it that I really love. I've got my dry spices measured. I've got a teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, an 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt. And then I'm going to take my basil and tomato mixture. I'm going to add that in. And then I told you guys I didn't quite have the amount of sun-dried tomato. I like to buy tomato paste in a tube because you can save it. I actually haven't opened this one yet. I'm going to put about a tablespoon in there. So I'm just going to squeeze it in there. Nice little mound. That's about a tablespoon. I sometimes don't use a measuring spoon to measure that because it just gets stuck inside. You're going to give this a stir. There's something interesting about chia and flax. When they soak in water, they create kind of this gooey product. I don't know what you really call it, but it makes it gooey. And it's going to act as a binding agent. You can actually use flax in place of eggs in a vegan recipe. And so by adding that to this, it acts as the binding agent for your crackers. You can see the little bits of red and the green in there. If you want, you can give it a little taste. It's not going to taste quite right because the flax just doesn't taste right when it's raw. Sorry, the crackers will be raw. It just doesn't taste quite right when it's not dehydrated, when it's reconstituted like this with water. It kind of tastes weird, but it tastes really great when it's done. So if you want, you can take a taste, see if you need to add anything else. Like I said, it does taste different when it's done. At first, the last time I made it, I thought I had too much salt and too much garlic powder because I couldn't wait, and I was tasting everything in between. And I found out when it was done that I had just the right amount. So my recommendation is to tweak it, taste it, see how you like it. My mixture's been soaking for about 15 minutes. You can see how thick it is. And I'm just gonna take it, and I've pre-cut my parchment paper to fit my air fryer trays. And I'm gonna put about 1/3 of the mixture on each one. And just eyeball it. You're gonna take one of them here. Show you on one. And you're just gonna spread it out. I didn't let it thicken enough so that I can't spread it. If you let it sit for too long, it becomes harder to spread. So 10 to 15 minutes max is perfect. I'm gonna spread it out all the way as far as I can to the edges. You don't wanna make it too thin or the crackers will break apart on you. But if you make them too thick, it's going to take them longer to dry. I have a really neat air fryer. It's almost like a mini oven. It's got 3 racks in it, and it will dehydrate food. When I did the batch of these the other day, it only took 3 hours at 110 degrees for them to dehydrate the whole way. There we go, getting on the edge. Looks really nice. Just gonna flatten them out. And then you've got to score them before they go into the air fryer. You don't have to cut all the way through. Don't worry about stuff that didn't cut. Should feel go all the way through though. I'm just gonna do 16 crackers because that seems like the right size for the sheet I've got. And then I'm just going to take my rack and slide it underneath. And I'm going to repeat the process for the other 2 sheets. I've got my trays all ready to go into my air fryer. I wanted to show you guys my air fryer because I just love it. I cook so much more in it. It's like a little oven, and it's got dehydrate settings on it. These have been going for about 30 minutes at 110 in the dehydrator. They've got enough of a crust on them for me to give them a good flip. I flip them over on my tray. I'm just gonna grab the edge of my parchment paper and just slowly peel it back. You might lose a little bit. And push that back down. The underside is still kind of gummy, which is fine. It's what it would be because the air hasn't touched it yet. Look at those pretty ingredients. Gorgeous. So there you go. Some of the areas that got pushed up a little bit, I'm just gonna pat them down. And it's ready to go back into the air fryer for about another 2.5 hours. All right, my sun-dried tomato crackers are done. You can see they're just coming right apart on the scoring. I'm gonna see if you can hear that crunch. It's hard to hear it, but they are crunchy. Here, I'll make a sound eating it. You can hear the crunch. They are really, really good. That's fantastic. All right, my crackers are all done. I did end up having to dehydrate them for almost 5 hours. It just depends on what temperature you use and if you use them in an air fryer or dehydrator. Take a note that if you go over, I think 114 degrees Fahrenheit, they are no longer raw, and it definitely does change the flavor if you cook them. So try to keep that dehydrator temperature low. It's definitely worth it.